Africa is full of insane stories, from being the motherland of humankind to having the richest person in all of history, Mansa Musa. Even the richest president ever is African. But that's only a part of the bigger story. Today, have you ever stopped to truly wonder, how much is my president worth? If you've ever found yourself asking how wealthy Kenya's William Ruto is, or Patrice Talon of Benin, Rwanda's Paul Kagame, or even South Africa's Cyril Ramaphosa, you are in the right place. We'll also touch on figures like Burkina Faso's young captain Ibrahim Traoré, and you'll see why his story is so starkly different from what you think. There's massive changes in African presidential wealth this year. Is your leader richer? Stick with us to see the numbers, and some will shock you. Today we're going to explore the insane wealth of the incumbent African leaders. This list is full of twists and surprises, revealing a staggering paradox: how Africa can be home to some of the world's richest leaders, while at the same time home to many of the world's poorest people. In Africa, the line between leadership and immense personal fortune is often blurred, sometimes even completely erased. We're talking about billions of dollars accumulated while many of their citizens struggle to make ends meet. Think you know Africa's leaders? Think again. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating and controversial world of Africa's 10 richest presidents. And this list holds a secret, a story so crazy to believe it sounds like a movie. The leaders at number 4 and number 3 are tied together by a saga crazier than anything we've seen in modern politics. You're not supposed to see this story on your national TV, but you will, right here on Arisen Now. Welcome to the insane story of the wealthiest presidents in Africa. Before we jump into our countdown, a quick but crucial note. Pinning down the exact net worth of a sitting head of state is incredibly difficult. Their finances are rarely transparent. Our figures are estimates, carefully compiled from reports by financial journals, international watchdog organizations, investigative journalism, and leaked documents like the Panama and Pandora Papers. This isn't gossip, it's a serious look at the intersection of power and money. Kicking off our list at number 10, we have a tie. Two presidents from two different corners of the continent are both estimated to have a net worth of around $185 million. First, from Egypt, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, a former general who came to power following a military takeover. His personal wealth is one of the most opaque on our list. Officially, his salary is modest, but to understand the source of his potential wealth, you have to understand the Egyptian military. It's not just an army, it's a massive economic empire involved in everything from building roads and producing cement to manufacturing pasta and appliances. This empire operates with little to no civilian oversight. El-Sisi's official salary is modest, but his influence over Egypt's mega projects, roads, dams, real estate, etc., gives his circle immense leverage. In leaked documents, some companies close to the military have been shown to secure major construction contracts. In one exposure, a company tied to a high-level military chief got multi-billion-dollar contracts without transparent bidding. Critics argue that this is how el-Sisi's network builds its wealth indirectly. They, along with investigative journalists, allege that the entire system is designed to generate massive, off-the-books funds. As the leader, el-Sisi sits at the very top of this financial pyramid. So while there may be no paper trail leading to a personal bank account, his absolute power over this multi-billion-dollar military economy is the real foundation for these wealth estimates. And for Egypt, this story is nothing new. A classic example is former President Hosni Mubarak. During his 30-year rule, he is believed to have amassed over $70 billion. According to sources like Yahoo Finance, that staggering fortune would have made him the third richest president in modern history, behind only Libya's Gaddafi and Russia's Putin. Sharing the number 10 spot is Ivory Coast's president, Alassane Ouattara. His story is different. A highly respected economist, Ouattara had a long and lucrative career at the International Monetary Fund and as the governor of the Central Bank of West African states before ever becoming president. His wealth was built on a foundation of high salaries, bonuses, and savvy investments over decades. He is a member of the global financial elite, Today, Alassane Ouattara's wealth is valued at a staggering $185 million. Many accept his wealth as earned, but some opposition analysts claim his regime favors enterprises tied to his inner circle. What happens when a president with a technocratic reputation also controls major private firms? Later in the list, we'll explore how that tension becomes a hallmark of elite power. At number 9, we have a leader who has been in power for over 4 decades, President Paul Biya of Cameroon, with an estimated net worth of over $200 million. At 92 years old, he is one of the world's oldest heads of state. But his wealth isn't just from his long tenure, it's the way he has spent his time in office that draws scrutiny. According to a detailed investigation by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, or OCCRP, President Biya has spent at least 4.5 years of his time in power on private visits abroad. His destination of choice? The 5-star Intercontinental Hotel in Geneva, Switzerland. The investigation estimated that the cost for him and his entourage for these trips could exceed $150 million, all footed by the Cameroonian treasury. Imagine a bill of tens of thousands of dollars per day for years, while schools and hospitals back home crumbled. Back in 2022, when his country hosted the Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON, Cameroonian citizens celebrated seeing their president only once due to his frequent visits abroad. This suggests how wealthy his family must be. Now for number 8, Kenya's President William Ruto, a man who built his political brand as a hustler who rose from poverty, built substantial wealth through agribusiness, real estate, hospitality, insurance, and investments. Today, his net worth is estimated to be over $400 million. Ruto's story is a classic rags to riches tale. He says he started out selling chickens and groundnuts by the side of a road. Today, his portfolio is staggering. He is a massive landowner and has a business empire centered on hospitality, including the famous Western Hotel in Nairobi and multi-million-dollar safari lodges. But his wealth is not without controversy. The land on which his Western Hotel sits, for instance, was the subject of a years-long legal battle, with the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority claiming it was illegally acquired public property.
In the suit filed by his lawyer Kioko Kilukumi, Deputy President William Ruto says that the remarks made by the 5 code leaders injured his reputation by referring to him as one of the principal architects of the 134-acre Karen land-grabbing saga.
To his supporters, he is an inspiration. To his critics, his story is a case study in how political influence in Kenya can be allegedly leveraged to build a massive personal empire. At number 7, we find another leader whose wealth is estimated to be over $400 million, President Patrice Talon of Benin. Before he was a president, he was a businessman known as the Cotton King. He made his fortune by dominating Benin's most vital industry, cotton, and then expanded, taking over management of the port in Cotonou, the country's economic heart. He was already a tycoon before he entered politics. When he ran for president in 2016, he portrayed himself as a successful outsider who would run the country like a business. But his critics now say he's doing just that, for his own benefit. They point to the fact that companies linked to him and his allies have continued to win major state contracts since he took office. For example, the verification of imports and exports at the port, a highly lucrative business, was handed over to a company in which his own son has interests. It's a move his opponents describe as a blatant conflict of interest, creating a perception that the state and the president's personal business empire have become one and the same. However, the full story of how power and money mix on this list gets even more extreme. Stay with us till the end. Meanwhile, if you found this video helpful, just smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Next, at number 6, we travel to South Africa to President Cyril Ramaphosa. With an estimated net worth of $450 million, Ramaphosa's journey to wealth is unique. He was a celebrated anti-apartheid activist and trade union leader who, after the fall of apartheid, became one of the primary beneficiaries of the Black Economic Empowerment Program. he founded the Shanduka Group, an investment firm that bought stakes in everything from McDonald's South Africa to mining operations. His fortune was made legally in the private sector, but his wealth became a source of major controversy in 2022 with the Farmgate scandal. It was revealed that at least $580,000 in cash was stolen from his private Fala Fala game farm, cash that had been hidden inside a sofa. The questions exploded immediately. Why was a president holding so much foreign currency in cash? Had it been declared to authorities? The scandal rocked his presidency, creating a perception that even a leader who came to power on an anti-corruption platform might have financial dealings he'd prefer to keep in the shadows. Breaking into our top 5 is President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, with a cited net worth of $510 million. But this figure requires a very important clarification. The number doesn't refer to a personal bank account, but rather to the estimated value of Crystal Ventures, a massive holding company. This company is owned by the ruling political party, the Rwandan Patriotic Front, or RPF. A 2012 Forbes report estimated the value of Crystal Ventures at around $500 million, and many observers note that the company has continued to expand over the years. Today, Crystal Ventures is active across multiple sectors of Rwanda's economy, from education and construction to agribusiness, telecommunications and banking. The company has been credited with helping to build some of the country's top schools and key infrastructure projects. According to the Rwandan Patriotic Front, which owns the holding company, the profits are reinvested to fund party programs and contribute to Rwanda's national development goals. Some international analysts have discussed how this model blends political and economic activity in unique ways, noting that it reflects Rwanda's approach of linking governance with development. Supporters see it as an example of how party-led initiatives can drive national progress.
The World Bank ranks Rwanda as one of the top countries in Africa for business-friendly policies,
while others say it raises broader questions about transparency in party-owned enterprises, a topic that continues to generate debate among political economists. At number 4, we have a man who has been called the poster child for kleptocracy. President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo of Equatorial Guinea. He's the world's longest-serving president, and in his 45 years of rule, he's amassed a fortune estimated between $600 million and $940 million. His country is one of Africa's top oil producers, but its people are among the poorest. So, where does the money go? Look no further than his son, Vice President Teodoro Obiang. His exploits are legendary. In 2016, Swiss authorities seized a collection of 25 of his supercars in Geneva. We're talking about a Bugatti Veyron, a Koenigsegg 1 worth $2.8 million, and a Lamborghini Veneno Roadster, one of only 9 ever made, worth over $6 million. The collection was auctioned off for $27 million, with the proceeds meant to go to charity in his country. This was after French authorities had already seized his $100 million Parisian mansion. And the US Department of Justice forced him to sell a Malibu mansion and a Michael Jackson crystal-encrusted glove. Investigators have repeatedly traced the source of this wealth directly back to state funds, allegedly siphoned from oil revenues by the ruling family. Now for our top 3. Coming in at number 3 is Africa's last absolute monarch, King Mswati III of Eswatini, formerly Swaziland. As a king with absolute power, the distinction between his personal wealth and state funds is virtually meaningless. His net worth is estimated to be between $500 million and $1 billion. The king's lavish spending is infamous. In 2019, news headlines flashed around the world when he reportedly imported 19 Rolls-Royces and over 120 luxury BMWs for his family, a purchase estimated to cost over $17 million. This was in a country where 2/3 of the population lives in poverty and faces the world's highest HIV prevalence rate. The wealth comes from Tibio Takangwane, a national investment fund created for the Swazi people, but which the king is accused of treating as his personal piggy bank, holding stakes in sugar production, real estate, and telecommunications. For the people of Eswatini, their king's fortune is not a source of pride, but a daily painful reminder of the nation's inequality. But even $1 billion isn't enough to get to the top of our list. The runner-up at number 2 is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria, with an estimated net worth between $2 and $4 billion. A former governor of Lagos, Nigeria's economic engine, Tinubu's wealth is as vast as it is controversial. Investigative reports from Nigerian outlets like The Guardian have attempted to map his empire, linking him to dozens of properties in Lagos, a TV and radio station, a stake in the company that collects tolls on the heavily trafficked Lekki-Ipe Expressway, hotels, and even a private jet. During the 2023 election, a video went viral showing 2 bullion vans, armored trucks used to transport cash, entering his private residence on the eve of the vote. When asked about it, he famously replied, "Is it your money? I am not a government agency." The statement became a symbol for his critics of what they call an unaccountable political elite. Supporters claim he is a master strategist and a savvy businessman who made his fortune legitimately, but his refusal to publicly declare his assets in detail has only fueled speculation, making him arguably the most controversially wealthy leader in all of Africa. And finally, at number 1, the richest incumbent leader in Africa today is King Mohammed VI of Morocco, with an estimated personal net worth of around $6 billion. The King of Morocco isn't just a head of state, he's the country's biggest banker, biggest farmer, and biggest businessman. His fortune stems from his family's majority ownership of a massive holding company called Al-Mada. It's a sprawling conglomerate with stakes in nearly every vital sector of the Moroccan economy: banking, insurance, mining, tourism, real estate, and supermarkets. If you spend money in Morocco, there's a good chance a portion of it ends up with Al-Mada. Leaked documents from the Pandora Papers in 2021 also revealed how the monarchy has utilized offshore companies in places like the British Virgin Islands, though the palace has maintained all its actions are legal. The king's personal life is a study in lavish hereditary opulence. He and his family maintain a portfolio of dozens of ornate royal palaces across Morocco, including the sprawling, heavily staffed Dar al-Makhzen in Rabat, with an immense annual operating budget reportedly paid by the state. His passion for luxury transport is legendary, owning an estimated 600-car collection that includes rare exotics like a Bugatti Chiron, a Koenigsegg Regera, and vintage Ferrari models, in addition to a custom-built Moroccan Laraki Sahara hypercar valued at over $2 million. He also owns the Royal Mansour Marrakesh, considered one of the world's most luxurious palace hotels. For global travel, he utilizes a Boeing 737 BBJ private jet and a luxury superyacht named Bades 1. While the king is a popular and stabilizing figure for many Moroccans, his immense personal wealth, intertwined so deeply with the national economy, raises profound questions about the concentration of power and money in a single individual. So there you have it. A list of unimaginable wealth, from monarchs to presidents for life. But what about the names that aren't on this list? We mentioned Captain Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. He offers a stunning contrast. Upon taking power, he famously rejected the presidential salary, reportedly around $5,000 per month, choosing to keep only his modest military captain's pay. The rest, he claimed, would go into public development funds, arguing the nation needed the money more. It is a powerful reminder that another path is possible, so by design he does not accumulate private riches in the same way. Others you might have expected, like Ruto or Kagame, do appear here, but sometimes their estimated wealth is lower or more contested in other rankings. The stories of these fortunes, built on resources, political power, and business acumen, force us to ask a difficult question: what is the true price of leadership? When a leader's personal wealth rivals their nation's annual budget for health or education, what does that mean for their people? The answers are not simple, but they are essential to understanding the future of a continent brimming with both incredible potential and staggering challenges. If you want to get answers to those questions, click on this next video on your screen. I hope to see you there.